Good morning, everyone. It is Friday, March 24th, just before 8:40 a.m. Again, getting a little bit of a late start, but we didn't have any problem getting our crude homework done yesterday, so let's give it a shot. As for news today, we do have durable goods coming out at, actually, we just had that out, so that's done. Then we have PMI today at 9:45, and one of the Fed members yapping at 10. So might be a little choppy at the open. We'll definitely pay attention to that. Did kind of lose sight of that a little bit yesterday at the open, but that's okay. One thing again, just well, I'll remind you as we get closer to actual trading. All right, so let's start by adjusting all of our information here, all of our levels. So we need to move. Seems like yesterday was an awfully limited number of candles. This doesn't seem as full. Let me just see something here. Let's take a look at what the volume was. Oh, sorry. Not what I meant. $259,000. Let's compare that to a couple days ago. So that's yesterday overnight. Yeah, you can see how many more bars there are during the regular session from a couple days ago. 300, almost 400,000. Okay, I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. All right, let me turn that back off, and we'll get back to putting our levels in place. So we have value area high. VPOC. Value area low. Okay. Really? All right. Well, here's what we just learned. I don't need to move any of these things because there is a function here. There's a function on this volume profile that says extend levels to right. And it seems to be that once I click that, this automatically gets filled in by itself. Okay, so for now, I'm going to continue to use these dots only because of their size. And when I figure out how to adjust the size of the dots being plotted across by using that function, then I'll probably stop doing this. Okay, anyhow, but that is nice to see. Where are, okay, so we got something up here. This will be overnight high. And then we have, this will be overnight low. And we need overnight VPOC, which I think is above us. Yeah, should be above us somewhere. Right on here. There we go. And that's going to go to overnight VPOC. All right. Let's just fine tune this overnight low here. All right, so everything is in place where it needs to be there. Let's bring in our hourly chart. And let's take a look at what the trading looked like yesterday. and we see we were very, very balanced, stayed in a very tight range, got below overnight low. sorry, that's I'm looking at the wrong thing. Sorry. Got below VPOC from the day before. We were watching that as an area of interest to us, and on the top side we were held down by this previous swing, which we left on the chart, and we saw that actually hold. I think to the tick, if I remember right. Okay. Let's see here. All right, so very, very balanced trading, very small range yesterday. You could see really nice profile, very evenly distributed. So generally speaking, after narrow days come big days. Sometimes we get a few narrow days in a row ahead of a nice large move. So let's take a look at where we're trading now. 47.97, so just about 48. Let's see where that falls in relation to yesterday. Okay, so yesterday's high, right up here, there's nothing to do with because it's matching a previous high. Yesterday's low, we should mark off. So let's just grab a line here, copy paste. There we go. And currently we are trading right at yesterday's high, just about. Well below overnight high, or not well below, but below overnight high. So let's start taking a look and seeing where we think this can go. So as a overview, let's just see where we're at. So we're in this downtrend. We've consolidated a little bit towards the bottom of the downtrend. I would say that we're still pretty much looking for this downtrend to continue. All right, so downtrend, consolidation, a little retracement, consolidation, downtrend, consolidation. We figure that the downtrend will continue. Not that we care. We're not basing our trading off of that. Just trying to get a feel for. I think we're going to need to put in a micro composite here. Yeah, I think we're going to start looking at this as a balance. So what we've seen here, we pushed all the way down here, then we've retraced a little, and then we've pushed again, but we've really, we've put in a bottom and started coming back. So we're going to frame this, and I'm going to frame it starting from here. Okay. Okay, so what this gives us is we're starting to see distributions in here. All right, so we're going to want to pay attention to those. We're going to start marking them off as we plan for our homework today. I don't think we're going to need to go too much further down. Where are we going? All the way up to 49 there, 46.60. So we have, yeah, this is good. 120 ticks in either direction. I don't think we'll be dealing with any of that this morning. So currently trading 48. Let's just verify that we haven't moved much from there. Okay, currently trading 48. So let's give ourselves a mark and see what we have on the chart. All right, so first thing we can see, we are below value of this microcomposite. And we can see that there's a fairly large low volume area up here. So let's start by looking at an attempt to get towards overnight high. Oh, sorry. So 40. The pen's not working. Let's get that started up again. Here we go. So 48, right there. There's where we started. So we're going to look at a push up towards overnight high, which brings us into a former VPOC, brings us into the lower end of value, and we might even get this to reach to this former microcomposite VPOC here, which is at this ledge in the microcomposite low volume node in the composite. So we're going to look at this 4820 as an area of potential reversal. Hopefully we get a nice setup there, maybe come back below an overnight high and again test and fail, and ultimately make its way back down into yesterday's range, into yesterday's profile, which would make yesterday's VPOC primary target. If yesterday's VPOC fails, we go right back to what we were looking for yesterday. So let's say we slow down here, ultimately make our push down. We're going to have to test overnight low, maybe see VPOC hold its resistance, and now push again. And if you remember, what we were looking for was to see if we can't get to this former VPOC yesterday, and then ultimately this value area low from 2 days ago. So that's going to be hypo 1. Oh, hang on. Okay. Hypo 2. We're going to look for at the open, an immediate move back into yesterday's range. Once again, targeting VPOC. VPOC holds. Now we start pushing up. We make our way ultimately towards overnight high, break above, hold, and now we start pushing and we see if we can't get into this low volume area here. I believe if we can get in there, maybe build up some steam here, I think we can get a push through to the opposite end, and that's going to be hypo 2. Now, of course, oh, hang on. Of course, there is the option of further balance, okay, and that, in my opinion, that could actually be held in by as little as overnight high, overnight low. I don't think it would be that small. I would at least be very surprised if it were. Oh, hang on. Sorry, I moved. There we go. Okay. So, hypo 3 is going to be where we come to test overnight high. Again, maybe we break it to get to this former VPOC low volume node on both the microcomposite and the composite. Turn down, get back into yesterday's range. Really got to see how we protect yesterday's high if we break above it. But turn down, get back into yesterday's range, ultimately come down towards VPOC, maybe value area low, maybe overnight low, and now we start holding and we start balancing like we did yesterday. You know, we end up staying between this overnight high, overnight low. Notice again, overnight high and this first former microcomposite VPOC on the way up coincides at the bottom of value on this new microcomposite. So we have hypo 3. I think that's all we need for today. Okay, so let's move this chart off. Okay, let's see what time we have. 8:52. Okay, so we have about 7 minutes. I'm going to take a minute to go back and look at yesterday's trading by adding in the further idea of order flow and the all-in scale-out mentality, which, by the way, we're going to be doing again today. I don't really have a chance to look at it from the perspective where we're watching for divergence and negative divergence only. But we do see yesterday when we came to touch this high, we did not get any sort of negative divergence up here. So I don't really see a good trade entry in respect to the BBs. We got to the level and we turned right down here. Let's just move forward a little bit so I can. Okay. Even here on this little pullback, in this second pullback. Still really nothing to show that we were ending here. Order flow showed we were ending here. I do remember seeing all these sells go, all these sells go off, and I remember sellers stepping in over and over again at the 95, 96 level. So order flow more than anything kind of told us this was coming to an end. Plus, we were at the tail end of a downtrend at that point. So really nothing here from the perspective of the BBs to play off of. So no trade to be had here. Earlier in the day, however, this push to the low, this original push to the low had positive divergence. Certainly a tradable pattern. Nothing really to do in the middle. Our pullback really wasn't enough in order for us to try to get long. You would have to add a little bit of extra risk to your trade, or tighten your stop, tighten your profit target, so that you still have, at least 1.5 or 2 to 1 reward to risk ratio. On this next move up, again, we have no negative divergence here, so you certainly could still be looking for a long, but you have this really close high of day, so you probably would have held off on that. Next pull down, same thing. The VWAP is holding. You're getting some reasons to look to go long, but you're still close. What are we at here? 84, 85, with high of day being 94. It'd be really, really tough to pull that trade. So really nothing for us in the first half hour there. Then as we come down, we test former VPOC. Shoot, I don't have that on here right now. Hang on, I'll tell you what that price was in just 1 second. Former VPOC, 47.66. So we come down and we ultimately push to. Maybe I should have done this before. Sorry about that. This is, here we go, right. Okay, so we push. As we come and test this current low of day, we really don't have any level here. 47.65 is the first level we have down here. So we've attempted to go up, that failed. We've attempted to come down, that failed. But we don't really. We do have positive divergence here, so that's for sure. But again, you would have been trading in a no man's land. So if you were deciding to take a trade down here off of the BBs using yesterday's low kind of as your entry point, so you get this quick move down. Here is an entry right here. A quick move down, a push back up, and then a retest. Here is an area where you could have entered a trade, now putting a stop below here. Tight stop, okay? So you're talking about, say you're getting in at 76, 77. Your stop could be as high as 71, so only a 5-6 tick stop. Playing off of the low. Obviously, plenty of room if we come back. Doesn't even have to come anywhere near back. The actual high of day at that point, even just to the mid, is 10 ticks if you're in at 76. Ultimately, you get all the way back up to the open of the day, and it fails. You could see here the BBs from the high of day to this move are following perfectly. Slowly declining on the 610 and the 987. That is not the case on the 1597. You're actually getting hidden divergence there, but I'm not going to bother. I'm not going to bother with that. So you get a move up to the open today. I really don't see. I don't see where I would have gone short here. Definitely, I would have been covering some of a trade if I got long down here. Ultimately, remember, 47.65 is what we're looking for as the VPOC from the day before. So we do get a push back down. We come below VWAP. We come back up to test VWAP. Again, definitely a tradable event here. You'd have to see it. You would have to have been ready for it. It happened very quickly. And now we ultimately do come and push 47.65 to the tick. Okay, and we get it with. Let's shrunk this down a little bit. I want you to see this. Okay, let's go back. So here's your 47.65. If you come back to this low, you'll see we have positive divergence in every one of the time frames. Now, granted, 610, 987 do not show positive divergence from here to here. So this is a 50-50 trade. Half of us would take it, half of us would not. This next effort here, I think, is a little bit better. So you get your positive divergence on the 610, you get positive divergence on the 987. You're fairly flat on the 1597. this is a better entry in my opinion. You can put an entry in here now. You've already held here at overnight. I'm sorry, a previous VPOC, which has now become overnight low. You've already held here. Your stop can be placed below here. This is a very, very good trade entry. And from somewhere in here, again, depending on where you're in, 67, 68, you ultimately do get enough for your first 10 tick profit target. You would be stopped out, in my opinion. You would have been stopped out down here of the rest of your trade, depending on how you handled it. But I'm going to say you would have. If it were me, I would have. I also probably would have been getting back into a trade on one of these pullbacks here. Again, if I'm just talking about the BBs for now, which is what I've shown you guys for the most part. Adding in this order flow is for some other things I'm trying to work on. But this here is another nice area of consolidation. You step away from it, you come back down to test the bottom end of it. Again, you can have a very tight stop off of low of day. And now you do get a nicer move. Again, where are you in from? 60, 61, maybe 62. You do get a nicer move at some point early, all the way up to 82, 20 tick profit target, even further. Oh, wow. Okay. I did not realize that's what happened. Actually, you get to about a 30 tick, 29 tick if you're in at 82. And then ultimately we top off right at the open. You can see how the open today held. Oh, shit. What time is it? See some things happening. There we go. All right. There we go. Quick push off the open down into yesterday's value. Remember, we're talking about if we see this, we're watching for VPOC. Make sure I have my trades ready to go. No, there should be 3. Okay. No positive divergence from lows to lows. Let's scrunch this up and see if we look back a little further here. Still nothing. Okay. Came down right there, tested VPOC. Looks like we came to within a tick of it, so that's nice. We got our overnight VPOC here. Here's yesterday's high of day. So we're back out of yesterday's value. Okay, so we ended up opening lower than where our homework was by about 10 ticks. So we didn't have a gap. We opened right outside of yesterday's value, came down. We tested this VPOC to a tick. Now we're starting to see if we can't make our way up outside of yesterday's range. Remember, we talked about if we get above yesterday's high, we really want to see how that ends up holding as support if we can get above it. Let's just see if we have any consolidations earlier. It is always nice seeing how some of these levels are treated and respected. For me, obviously the move just happened too fast. I didn't have an order out there, front running this by a couple ticks. Just not what I do yet. I have seen now on many days. I have seen how I just realized I don't know if I was recording this whole time. Oh well. I've seen many days where we get real close to a level, we get to it quickly and we move away. But I've yet to actually use that as a trading opportunity.
I think you were recording because it said this session is going to be recorded. And it.
I think it automatically starts when you jumped on. I have it
Oh,
set
really?
to. Oh no, you know what? I think I was. I think I was. I think I did start
Okay.
right away. So here we go. Now we're coming up towards yesterday's high of day. Let's see if we stay in the range. We definitely don't have any sort of negative divergence on the BBs. You can see right from the open here, BBs have they came down with price. Now they've come up with price. So nothing to play off of there. So again, we had a really tight range yesterday. We know we have some news coming out today. I don't know if you were on to see that. Let me just pull up the calendar. We had some news come out at 8:30. We also have 9:45 PMI and 10 o'clock. One of the Fed members are yapping. Might actually be a cause for a bit of a slowdown at the open here. Okay, so right now we're just gonna continue watching, see if there's anything that turns out to be of interest for us. Shopping around overnight VPOC, no big surprise there. Okay, so we just saw a big buy go off there. Oh, that's an interesting trade. I am tempted to buy a pullback here, but there's just not enough room to the higher day right now. If we take a look at the chart real quick, there's really nothing here definitive uptrend, downtrend. If I scrunch this down, we have uptrend overnight. This could be a pullback into continuation of an uptrend. If we made this a longer time frame chart, it would look like this. So this is where we are right now. The question is, are we going to push down and break, or are we going to push up and get above the last high? So we'll see what happens here. Don't want to get in just because we're impatient. We know that at least I know I've got a tendency to do that. So been a lot better with that recently. I do expect to see more of that from myself while I'm practicing this new entry exit strategy and incorporating order flow. I expect to overreact to things until I really get a little bit more fine tuned with it. But right now, really not much to do. I'm still baffled by that trade here, by this 129 contract trade. Not to say that trade won't work for them, but I just didn't see anything there to cause that to go off. I mean, I guess it could just be an order from somebody that's not actually trading. They just decided they wanted to buy oil futures or close out a short that they have from 4 months ago. continuing to test VWAP here. Nothing much happened, so really nothing to talk about. I guess in the meantime, why don't I? I'm gonna do it on my other screen, so I'm not blocking anything on here. I'm going to move around my levels for the S&P, just kind of get them in place. Maybe I'll even have a chance to do some homework on it today. Looks like S&P's been balancing pretty well too. Where is? Oh, looks like the S&P took a bit of a nosedive earlier this week. Cool. All right, it's kind of cool. Yeah. Really nothing going on there. VWAP being tested again. I'm just refreshing the chart on my other screen, so I'm kind of frozen. But looks like oil's still just kind of chilling here. Okay, there we go. So you buy here. This one makes more sense. Again, that's not to say it's going to work, but this one makes more sense. You know, trying to buy off the VWAP. And while that's happening, I'm going to continue drawing in my stuff here on the S&P. I don't, for us, at least for me, I'm not interested in going long here. I only have 7 ticks to the high today from where we are right now. Honestly, I'd be much more interested in a short developing where I can try to get in underneath overnight high, maybe on another spike up with some decent divergence. Okay. So I'm just drawing in some micro composites here on the S&P, and I'll show them to you once I bring the screen over. We'll see if we have time to do actual homework or not. But at least we'll be up to date. Let's look. So we can see here no negative divergence here at the high, right? So this is where the high formed. If you look at the vertical lines on those BB charts, where as I move it, you'll see if we come to high right now, we would not have any negative divergence here. So can't be looking for a short just yet. Okay, so while that does that, let's see what else we have here. Here we go, trying to take out yesterday's high. Remember, what we're watching for is if we're able to get above yesterday's high and do a little bit of trading, we're going to look to see if we can't buy a pullback. We're going to see a pullback at yesterday's high, but we haven't gotten nearly far enough away from there to even consider that. And if you give me a minute, I'm going to go back to the screenshots that I think I took properly today. I just want to finish. Okay. See overnight high. We got a battle going on up here. I'm sorry, yesterday's high, not overnight high. So what we're watching for, still at this point where we look at this as this has held as resistance. So what we're watching for is going to be a pullback off of it. In fact, let's draw this out. Let's see how close this comes to happening. That's kind of what we're looking for as one opportunity to get into a trade. We'll see if that presents itself. Okay, so I got the S&P pretty much ready to roll. Another interesting buy right there. I get the location, okay, you think that the high is going to turn into support. You think buyers are going to step in and push towards overnight high. I just don't get the timing of it. But again, I'm the furthest thing from someone to be judging other people's trades. Okay, so I'm just giving a quick look here at this S&P chart on my own for a minute, just see if I can make sense of this. Yeah, okay. Where are we trading now? 45. So I like this pullback here on oil. I really want to see this pullback come further. I'd love to actually see it come in and test yesterday's value area high, have it hold, maybe breach it a little bit, and then turn back up and give us an opportunity for a short on a pullback where we place our stop above the current high a day. Possibly even move that down to be at this opening range high where this wick on this candle topped out. But I'd like to see the pullback come down further before trying to take that trade. Even further. This is nice. This is nice. This pullback here, you know, again, we're going to test VWAP. We're sitting at overnight VPOC. We saw how we consolidated in here last time. At this point, maybe honestly, maybe a couple more ticks, even if we don't get a couple more ticks. At this point, I would be starting to watch for short. Not yet, though. Not yet. I'd really like to see this pull back down a little further, then turn back up, giving us a little bit of a cleaner definition of here's the low, here's the high. Now, granted, look here, 97 at the high, 88 at the low. This is not 10 ticks, but this is not the range I'm trading, at least not the range I expect it to stay in. So I'm more interested right now in being short from near the top of this range. In my range, I'm ending at opening range high, not at high a day. If we make a push up, breaching the overnight, yesterday's high, I don't know why I keep saying it, I'm sorry, breaching yesterday's high, we're at risk because once we get outside yesterday's high, remember what I've been saying, that puts us into a position where we're now into a range from, give me 1 second here, go back to my oil chart. If we get outside of yesterday's high, the high of day for the previous day is all the way up at 48.32. So there's not a ton stopping us there. So I'd really like this. This is forming like I want if I get the pullback. If we don't get the pullback, I just don't get the trade. But this is starting to form like I would want it to. So I am actually going to get an order out here. Would like this. I really would like this to come back a little further, though. I am going to pull this. I just don't like that VWAP held so nicely there. I'd like this to come below, maybe close a bar or two below VWAP. There we go. There we go. The other end of this trade potentially is a pullback all the way down towards low of day with positive divergence from the initial move down. We would watch that for a potential long. Okay, so now I am without doubt putting in a desire to go short. Here's my order. Let's wait. Let's wait to see if we can't get a pullback here. We may not, of course. So we've pulled all the way back down. have not yet made it back to yesterday's VPOC. This is pretty much what I'm looking for. I'd like to see a pullback up, giving us a chance to get short. question is, how far would I be willing to move my order to get into this trade? I'm certainly not going to chase price down to where it is right now. So not pulling back just yet, but that's okay. Let's see. Let's take a look at the S&P, what it did overnight real quick. We are 100% net long inventory S&P. Here is the close of day yesterday. We have opened and been above it for the entire overnight session. That might lead itself to a nice opportunity to get short, hopefully with a push up at the open. So let's do a little bit of, I see somebody clicking. I don't know if you're trying to tell me something or just show me you got a mouse. If you have a mic, I can't tell who it is because it says participant 1. I don't know whose name that is. But if you have a mic, please feel free. You are absolutely welcome to jump in and yap, ask questions, point out stuff you think you see, and that's absolutely fine. So what we're looking at right now, and this is exactly what it is that we're watching for as a setup. Now it's just a question of will we get a push back up, giving us an opportunity to get short. You know, one thing I didn't see while this was happening, we had these zero lines potentially acting as resistance on both the 610 and the 1597. I don't know that I would have traded off of it, but it would have been nice to at least point it out. Okay, so while this is kind of stagnant here, because honestly, at this point, it would have to do something fairly aggressive in either direction. Not that ATIX is aggressive from where we are, but with today's morning's range, it is. I mean, do we even have 20 ticks? We have 21 tick range right now. Let's bring in homework for the S&P. All right, so what I've done is I framed out a micro composite up here. You see that we pushed up, pulled back, and stayed in balance until we busted out here, and that's why the micro composite ends right there. I marked off the micro composite VPOC, and we already had this one on. I actually stretched it out to include this day as well, and also have micro composite VPOC from there. As for the levels on the chart, I have adjusted them to remove the ones that that we've breached and are no longer necessary, and we've left the ones on. Actually, we had this level on here. No, sorry. So here's a level we added on yesterday. It's nice. You could see how well it traded right off of this wick here, but I don't know that we would have seen that. I don't think I would have had that plotted at that point, unless this comes from somewhere back. This one we would have. This one comes off of the low here, but I don't know if this line is plotted. I just plotted it at yesterday's high. Okay, so let's take a look where we're trading now. Last I saw was have we come off a bit from when I last looked? Yeah, I think we did. Big sell just went off there in oil. All right, we'll get back to that. I mean, right now there's really nothing to look at there, so why not try to be productive? 45. We're going to use 46 as our 45.75 is where we're actually trading. We'll use 46 as our starting point for our homework. Okay. So let's see where we are. We're opening inside yesterday's value. VPOC's above us. We know inventory is overall short. So what I would love to see, push up towards VPOC value area high, turn back down, test the bottom end of yesterday's value. I'm going to prep for that trade, actually. I really, really like that idea. When we get to the bottom end of yesterday's value, we want to see, is this going to hold, move it back up, test VPOC, kind of stay inside this value, or are we going to ultimately try to push to an extreme in either direction and go back towards overnight highs and lows. Honestly, this could be expectation 1, 2, and 3. Where expectation 1, we test value area high, hold, test value area low, hold. Expectation number 2, we do it in the opposite order. So this is 1 and 2 and 3. Now, the only thing not included in here is what happens on some breakouts. So if we open, again, we're going to expect to test the VPOC, see if that holds. If we break above and we get towards yesterday's high, maybe a pullback, again, hold value area high. Now we can see a break and come and ultimately test overnight high. That is certainly a possibility. On the opposite end of this, actually, I like this idea what I'm about to do. On the opposite end of this, if we were to come up and it were to now fail at the VPOC, you know what? Let me change colors for that. If it were to now fail at the VPOC overnight or value area high, now we would be looking for a push back down, testing value area low, yesterday's low. If this were to fail, again, maybe retest the value area low, fail, and then come and push and see if we can't get back to the low of a couple of days ago. If we can get there or below, we have low volume on this profile here. That is giving us the potential for a fairly significant move down. And as you can see, let me print this and I'll clear this out. As you can see, we don't really have much below us in the way of levels. Now, I don't think it's because I didn't do it, because I see levels beneath there. I just think that that was where we had some pretty gappy trading. So S&P has opened, and I am looking for a short. And I am actually going to okay. So we have an order in at the S&P ahead of overnight high, ahead of yesterday's VPOC, and we're probably going to end up having a stop on this order near value area high of yesterday. I am willing to move this order down if need be. Meanwhile, oil is coming towards its low of day. No positive divergence, nothing to do there. Coming towards VPOC of yesterday, so that has played out as planned. Really a shame I couldn't find a way into a trade up here. To be honest, I was not paying as much attention to the order flow as I normally would like to. Look at this. We're coming right back up into this area of consolidation that we just had. Is VPOC going to hold there? So I'm watching order flow right now. I'm watching to see if buyers run out of steam or if some sellers step in. I'm taking a short here. Pure order flow. I'm using this consolidation as part of my entry reasoning. Okay, I'm expecting this consolidation to hold as resistance. Pure order flow. This is not BB related. Okay. Our entry came in at 84. Low of day is 77. Okay, so this is, normally with what we're doing, we're not looking for anything that's less than 10 ticks away. What I'm looking for here is a turn back down, not getting through this area of consolidation. Looks like that's not going to be the case. I'll tell you the truth, I really should be moving my stop a little because I don't want to be stopped out here. I want to let VWAP act as resistance. So we're actually going to come up to 94, give us our full 10 tick stop. S&P, we're almost short here. This trade, if you remember, I was saying earlier today, we've seen a couple times where levels hold so well as we plan for them, but we don't actually have the chance to get into the trade for some reason. That's what this trade is. I'm not even looking at the BBs right now. Oh, is it really going to miss me by a few ticks? I'm looking at from the idea, overnight inventory is completely long. We have on the homework, we looked at VPOC value area high, potentially acting as resistance and holding price inside there. So we'll see if we get into that trade on the S&P. Okay, just moving some profit targets there on oil. S&P still missing me by a tick. I'm pulling this for now. The fact that we walked our way up here, I think I should be able to get either a better entry from a price perspective or a better signal for an entry. I mean, if it just turns down from here, so be it. I wasn't in the trade anyway. But I think that this might actually get me a better setup to get in. Like I said, no matter what, I wasn't in this trade. I had not yet been filled, so. Tightening up my stop here. We break out of this consolidation. I'm not all that interested. Not all that interested in staying in this short. Remember, this was not a BB related. This was not a BB related short. Okay, so please don't. Regardless of how well or poorly this trade goes, I just want to point that out. Look at how we turned away from my price here to the tick on S&P. That's not cool. But what I'm hoping for now is with this turn down, maybe one more push, a slowdown in the BBs, possibly even some negative divergence, giving us a chance to get short, even if it's not at the same price. Like I said, I didn't get short, so it's not that I would be getting in at a worse price. I wasn't able to get in, period. And what I did is I front ran overnight high by 2 ticks, former VPOC by 4 ticks. So I gave myself some room to get into the trade. I wasn't too conservative on it. It just didn't fill me. Oil has come down to a halt again. It's happened a couple times today, so not the big surprise. What I'd like to see though, I'd rather not see these BBs really turn up. You know, if we're gonna slow down, let it just kind of stay around here, maybe even slowly drift down. I'd be okay with that, but I just don't want to see the BBs turn up. That would kind of just not be what I'm looking for. That's all. Okay, so S&P has come off. Real big buy here in the S&P. And the S&P, these numbers obviously are going to look very different than the ones we look for in oil. Much larger size traded in the S&P as opposed to the oil market, actually, as opposed to almost any other market. Another big buy came in here on the S&P right there. Seeing turn down in the 1597 and the 2584. Nothing happened really in either of them. Didn't get filled on our S&P order. Price got there, but we just didn't get the execution. Oh, sorry about that. I was scrolling along here on my other screen. So really nothing happening here at all. S&P spiking up again. We're going to take our short here. BBs have not completely confirmed for this short here on the S&P. This is still looking at this as not getting up above former VPOC. I really should be moving my stop up above former value area high, or should be moving it down and we're looking to see if we get out on a tight stop, look to get back into the trade at a higher price. Those are really the two ways to handle this, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm not going to let me think about this for a second here. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to treat this one as a really tight stop with if it breaks above here, well, now we're starting to see this negative divergence. That's nice. Where if it breaks above here, the idea would be that it would break towards value area high and give us a better trade entry. I think this is what I'm going to do with this one for now. Yeah, I've never really actually watched the order flow on the S&P, so it's going to be interesting to start paying attention to that. And of course, we still have this trade doing absolutely nothing in oil. 947. Didn't we have some news in 945? I guess the idea that we had PMI. So we were choppy this morning, but certainly the release of the news has not in any way accelerated the move on oil or the speed of oil, not necessarily which direction, just any type of move. And when we look at order flow on the S&P, it's going to be the same basic concept as when we watch it on oil. Well, we're looking to see that when we're trading on the bid, we want to see the number of contracts decrease, which is exactly what didn't happen there. Okay, so there's our tight stop. So, oh, that would be horrible if that actually hit us and reversed. Okay, both spiked there right at the same time. So we actually should be paying attention to both of these right now. Okay, S&P still testing up there. Oil spiked up. It didn't really set us up for any type of entry there. S&P continuing to push. So missed us by a tick there on our entry. Looking to get short below this value area high. Want to see if that will hold as the resistance, as the top end of this move. We're going to play it with a tight stop again. And here watching oil, we're coming back into overnight VPOC, into this former consolidation area. If you remember, we were looking at shorts up here before. So just saw a couple of big sells go off in oil. Definitely seeing some selling pressure there on oil right now. Same thing on the S&P. Looks like the offers are pushing down. Looks like we missed our entry by a tick on both of them. Got missed on these trades twice today. The idea of having a tight stop here, looking for a short as we get up into this range, was accurate. Where it was that we tried to get short in this range, unfortunately, was not. I'm pulling this trade if it's not getting filled, and I'll tell you why. Take a look at the BBs. We have lost any type of negative divergence up here. So I'd be willing to put it back on now with order flow adding to the mix. Although I wasn't filled on it anyhow. Again, getting to my price and not filling me. But the BBs have turned positive as we've made this move up here. Same is holding true with the S&P, but with the S&P, it's this actual level that I'm most interested in. How VPOC and value area high are so close to each other. That's what I'm most interested in. The part that gets me here is, again, we missed our entry by a tick on this one. We missed our entry to the tick on this one. We had an entry here, got to it, just didn't fill it. S&P's been messing with us. Also, we can see that the VWAP and 21 EMA have held nicely as support on the S&P all day today, so we should start paying attention to that as well. That has not been the case on oil. Oil's been above and beyond it fairly effortlessly. Still really nothing happening here. S&P coming down to test 21 EMA, VWAP. This was poorly executed on my part. The initial tight stop was absolutely fine. Not getting into this trade, even if it meant to chase it down a couple ticks, not being into this trade was poorly done here. All right, we're coming up at 10 o'clock. I'm going to call this a morning. Sorry for the yawn. As usual, if anything, guys, just feel free to get in touch with me. And if not, we'll see if I jump on this weekend. I'm not sure if I will, but if I do, I'll definitely send out a message. All right, until then, talk to you guys later.